Hi, everybody. Welcome to part 3 in our series, Recognizing Defense Mode. So last time we talked about, I'm Christy Joy. This is Bonnie Thompson. Last time we talked about how to recognize when you're in defense mode. And this week we want to talk about what do you do once you find yourself there? So what is it trying to tell you? How can you attend to that? So it can be a bit complex. I'll say that from the start because a lot of different things come into play, but we'll try to make this as clear as we can. And we've come up with several questions that you can use to kind of reflect and see what is happening in your system and what it needs. So I think you're getting that slide up for me, Bonnie. Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so the first question to ask is, why am I in defense mode? So some things that you might take into consideration is what's going through my mind. Sometimes thoughts alone can put us in defense mode, right?
Mhm.
So that's one aspect. What's my environment like? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling safe? Not safe? What are the current circumstances? What am I doing? What is feeling threatening to me right now that I'm involved with?
And that
Who's
might be,
around you? Go ahead.
yes, that might be something like anxiety because you have a presentation that you've got to be doing. So, that could be kind of the thought piece
Yep.
of that.
Yep.
Uh, and, it's not even there right now, but you're feeling that because of where your mind is around it.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Um, and also taking into consideration the people around you and what state they're in, because sometimes
Mhm.
we're feeling the defense mode of other people and resonating with that. And a couple of other questions to consider are, is this mine? So that kind of goes along with that. Am I taking on something from somebody else? And also not discounting our intuitive sense. So sometimes we feel activated by something, and that could be our gut instinct trying to tell us something. So there's a lot to really reflect on. And continuing on with some of those examples that Bonnie was talking about. So, yeah, it could be that you have something that's coming up that is making you feel anxious, like a speech or a presentation or a meeting or something like that. Sometimes an evaluation, like at work or any kind of time that we feel like we are being evaluated, can feel threatening to us. Has there been a boundary violation? So that can bring us into defense mode. And of course, our past trauma can all play into this as well. So it can get a little complex, but
Mhm.
so starting with those questions can give you some more information and some more self-awareness about what to do next. So if there is something that is coming up and there's some action you could take, so say the example of the presentation, and there's some action you can take. Maybe you're not as prepared as you need to be. So maybe you need to take some action to prepare for that. On the other hand, maybe you've done everything you can. You're totally ready, but you're still feeling really anxious. So in that case, you might need to calm down. And Bonnie's going to be talking more about the strategies to use once you kind of identify where you're at and what you need. Um, let's see, was there something else I'm missing here? Right. Next question. Is this response appropriate to the situation? So that kind of goes back into our trauma. Um, and, are we kind of out of proportion to what's happening right now? Is it actually happening, or are there just thoughts going through our mind that are causing us to get in defense mode? So, what is actually happening now? And is there any action I can take? And then the last question, is there any action I need to take? So boundary reset. Um, if you have that presentation, practice your presentation with a friend. And seek safety cues, which Bonnie's going to talk more about now. So now that we've asked ourselves these questions, we've come up with a little more information about where we are and where we need to go.
Mhm.
Then what?
Yeah, I want to add one to the, is there an action I need to take? So sometimes we're in defense mode because of a boundary violation. Someone has done something that was inappropriate. And an action around that would be correcting the boundary. So that was just popping into my mind and wanted to add that in. So moving on to then what to do with this and our strategies around that. So coming back to our nervous system map and looking at those 3 different states, safe and social, fight, flight, shut down, freeze. So when you're in defense mode, you're going into fight, flight, or you're going to that shut down, freeze. And if you've decided, okay, I'm feeling anxious, I'm in that fight, flight mode and feeling very mobilized, what action do I need to take? It depends a little bit on the situation, right? If it's your thoughts sending you into anxiety about the presentation, there's one kind of action you might do for that. If there's a dog that is barking and chasing me, your action is going to be entirely different, but you're in that same mode, right? And so that mobilization is there because you need to run away. That might be the correct action for that. So taking stock of what's going on and pausing enough to say, okay, what is it I really need to do with this? Sometimes if you're in that anxious anticipation, fight, flight energy, you may have all this energy going on in your body and nothing to do with it. And so an action that you can take at that point might be to go for a walk, to do something very physical that allows you to process, allows your body to use that energy in a way that it's not sitting there and being stuck in the system. So taking action in some form if it's needed and mobilizing in some way are good ways to help process the energy of that fight flight. If you find that you're in that shutdown freeze state and it's hard to get going and you're feeling immobilized and you're low energy, that's going to be a signal that that whatever's going on is too much and it's overwhelming your system. And so it might be important for you to retreat. It might be important for you're in an environment where there's a whole bunch of stuff going on and it's overwhelming and you're finding yourself shutting down. The action that's needed there may be to retreat. It may be to go to a place where you minimize the stimulation, you minimize the noise, you minimize the lights, to minimize that sense of too much in the system. And I'm just trying to think of a good example of that. Some of us need time alone. And so if you notice that you tend to shut down, because like in my house, there's 5 people that live here. And it can get overwhelming and I'll tend to go get out my phone and and play a game or something that's like, that may not be the best thing to do. I mean, it is a strategy and it does help me in some ways, but it might be better for me to separate myself, go to a place in the house where there aren't other people around and do something creative, do my own thing for a bit. Another thing that can be important when you're in shutdown, because it's that immobilized place, and this comes to why I'm showing you the map here in particular, and that is that there's a pathway. You see the little road there that goes between these. There's a pathway back to safe and social, to that place where we feel relaxed. And so sometimes what's needed when you're in shutdown freeze and you can't get yourself going is to do small mobilization, tiny little things. So cleaning the house or washing the dishes feel overwhelming and you can't get yourself going, but maybe you can put one dish away. Maybe you can, instead of going out for a walk and exercising like you know you need to, maybe all you can do right now is put on your shoes. And so keeping it small, that action, that mobilization, small enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming, can start to move you on that road back through here where you have more energy. And once you're moving, then it's easier to get back to that safe and social connected place. So talking about then this state, that safe and social, where we want to be able to find our way back to. And I want to emphasize that the fight, flight, and shutdown, there's nothing wrong with being in those states when it's important, when we need that. But we want to be able to find our way back to safe and social. And one of the ways that you can do that is looking at the things on this list and doing the things on there will help you move back to that state. So these are examples of what it feels like to be there, but you can do these things to help you move back to that. And that connectedness is always, that's the key word here. And so sometimes helping you move to that is being around other people, is finding someone that you feel safe with and being with them, asking them to connect with you in some way. Feeling grounded and aware of your body. So doing something that helps you feel more grounded and helps you connect with your body and the sensations of your body can help move you to that safe and social. So that could be going for a walk. That could be just a quick check-in with your body and noticing where your body's contacting the chair. Where's your connection to your environment? So the environment of the chair you're sitting on. Curiosity and being aware of your surroundings. So sitting with the child can be a great way to move into that because they are so curious. They exude some of these, the curiosity and the playfulness aspects of this. Doing something creative, so accessing your creativity, finding something creative to do can help pull you into that more connected state. And just engaging with life, with people, with nature too is really helpful for that. Anything you want to add to that, Christy?
No, that's great.
All right. So we wanted to share with you the practice that we use that we find to be most helpful when you're stuck in a defense mode to help move you into a little better place, to support that felt sense of safety in your body, that is the key to that safe and social state. And it's key to supporting your body and moving through those states freely. So we have a link below that you can click on to listen to the audio, and you can save that link and use that as much as you'd like. The audio is just talking you through the process of doing the embodied scanning. It's very simple. I always say it's deceptively simple. It sounds like it's too simple, but it's amazing what it can do to help shift when you're feeling stuck in those states. And thank you so much for watching our series and participating in this. I'm grateful for you and your efforts to care for yourself. And if you'd like to learn more about what the work that we're doing, you can go to our website, healingthroughthevagusnerve.com, and hope to see you there.
We'll have that link below as well.
Thank you.